Scientists say a clutch of 28 dinosaur eggs found in the Qinglongshan Fossil Reserve in central China are about 86 million years old. They determined the age using what they called an atomic clock method. Here's how it works and why scientists are excited about it. Hi and welcome to this channel. First, the basics. The eggs were discovered in 2017 at the type site of Qinglongshan, a well-known dinosaur nesting site. The 28 eggs are encased in rock and were collected along with a wealth of partial skeletons and complete skulls. There are 3 main sites in the Qinglai mountain area, all located in China's Yunnan Basin, where paleontologists have uncovered evidence of at least 9 different kinds of dinosaurs dating back to the late Cretaceous period. Because there are so many fossils here, including the world's largest gathering of dinosaur eggs, it's been nicknamed the Cradle of Dinosaurs. Researchers believe the eggs found at the type site probably came from a single nest, although which dinosaur species they belong to remains a mystery because no adult skeletons have turned up there. So the eggs have been classified into a group called Placolythus tumeaolingensis. That's because the egg shape itself can tell us a lot about the kind of dinosaur that laid it. These are part of a group called Dendrolithidae, which means tree-like stone, referring to the egg's resemblance to clusters of mineralized tree branches. These eggs are slightly flattened spheres, with diameters ranging from about 4.7 to 6.7 inches, 120 to 170 millimeters. Dinosaurs were the dominant land animals of the Mesozoic era. But like today, there was lots of variation among them. Some dinosaurs were huge and carnivorous, others were small and plant-eating, and some were omnivores. And even though their body sizes ranged drastically, all dinosaurs share one thing in common: they laid eggs. Even so, comparing fossils of different kinds of dinosaur eggs can provide information about how various species evolved. For instance, the porous texture of a shell offers clues about its owner's environment. Some eggs have smooth surfaces, suggesting that their owners lived near water, while others are rough and porous, indicating they lived in drier places. But paleontologists don't always know how old the eggs they find really are. They usually estimate the age of plant and animal fossils by looking at the sediments where they were preserved. This means the age of the eggs themselves is uncertain until now. This is thanks to a new paper published on Thursday in the journal Frontiers in Earth Science, in which researchers report they were able to accurately date the eggs using a process known as carbonate uranium lead, or UPB, dating. This method is commonly used to determine the age of carbonate minerals, which contain calcium, iron, manganese, and magnesium. Uranium is present within these minerals, and over time it decays into lead. To use this as a kind of atomic clock, scientists must compare the amount of uranium remaining with how much lead has accumulated. In the new study, researchers took tiny samples from a few fossilized eggshells, each no bigger than a sesame seed. Then they used a micro-laser to shave off bits of the samples, vaporized the mineral fragments, and then counted the number of uranium and lead atoms. By evaluating the ratio of uranium to lead, they were able to figure out the age of the eggs. Recently, scientists had identified the mineral in these particular fossil eggs as calcite, a form of calcium carbonate. This made them think the eggs might be good candidates for UPB dating. Calcite is the most abundant carbonate mineral on Earth, and it can make up 35% of limestone. It's often created by precipitation from water that's rich in dissolved carbon dioxide. When water containing dissolved CO2 evaporates, the remaining liquid becomes more concentrated. Eventually, the water reaches a point where it can no longer hold the minerals in solution, so they start to crystallize. In the case of calcite, when the right chemical conditions are met, the ions in the water combine to form solid calcium carbonate crystals. And while we usually think of calcite as being pretty hard, it can come in many different forms, from stalactites and stalagmites in caves to the shells of marine organisms. Scientists regularly use the UPB dating method to determine the age of calcite crystals in stalagmites and stalactites to reconstruct the chronology of past climates. So the researchers collected thin sections of fossilized eggshells for their study. These were only about 0.09 inch, 2.4 millimeters, thick, making them thinner than the average chicken egg. Inside the eggs, researchers found calcite crystals arranged in a back-and-forth pattern called lamella growth. They sampled these layers, which form from calcite deposited during different periods of an egg's development. Researchers removed the thin sections from the microscope slides using acid and then pulverized them into fine powders. They sent the powders off to a geochronology lab for analysis. There, technicians put the samples in an ultra-clean room with filtered air to prevent any contamination. Under a microscope, the particles were bombarded with a laser that vaporized them into plasma. This turns the powdered sample into a beam of light that can be separated into individual wavelengths. Each wavelength contains a different element. Researchers were able to count the number of uranium and lead atoms present in each sample. They looked at several spots from different eggs and got similar results, which they say show a high degree of precision. The team concluded that the eggs are at least 86 million years old. This makes them contemporary with other dinosaurs found at the Qinglongshan site, but also suggests that the dinosaur nesting site persisted for an unusually long time. That's because Qinglongshan is the first fossil site in China to be reliably dated using UPB dating. According to the study, researchers now hope that their findings will inspire other scientists to use the same technique to evaluate the ages of dinosaur eggs and better understand how dinosaurs evolved over time. They've shown that UPB dating can answer questions about the history of dinosaurs. Even without the bones, their technique opens the door to future analyses of fossilized eggs from all over the world. In theory, this method could be applied to other fossils containing primary carbonate minerals. However, we have not yet attempted this, said study co-author Bi Zhao, a researcher at the Hubei Institute of Geosciences in Wuhan, China. The feasibility depends on the preservation of the carbonate material and the geological context. But there's still a lot more work to do. We are planning to conduct further research on the origin, evolution, and distribution of these distinctive eggs, Zhao told CNN in an email. To better understand the origin and evolution of these distinctive eggs, as well as the nesting habits of the dinosaurs that laid them, we will continue to conduct fieldwork in the Qinglongshan area and apply the UPB dating method to other Cretaceous egg sites nearby. With more than 200 dinosaur egg sites across the globe, of which only a handful have been accurately dated, UPB dating could be a useful new tool for the scientific community. If widely applied, this approach could help establish a robust chronological framework for dinosaur reproduction behavior. This research was supported by the National Natural Science Foundation of China, the key laboratory of vertebrate evolution and human origins of the Chinese Academy of Sciences and the Hubei Provincial Department of Science and Technology. Some of the researchers involved in this study are affiliated with universities or institutions in China. Other researchers have received funding from the Chinese government and various national science foundations. Still, none of them appear to have received funding from fossil fuel companies. As always, you can check out the sources used in this video in the description below. Thanks for watching and learning with us.